Hi folks, so today we're going to talk about basic waxing to prepare your pots for glazing. In future videos I'll discuss waxing complex forms like lidded jars, chalices, and wax resist design. But for today we're just going to talk about waxing the foot of a pot and why we do it. Wax resist usually comes as a cream colored liquid. In our class we use this pre-dyed green mixture so that we can easily identify waxed and unwaxed areas. It is water soluble and can therefore be thinned down for delicately detailed work. Wax resist should be stored at room temperature, as wax can be damaged if it's frozen. So really the main purpose of this wax is to repel any glaze from adhering to your bisqueware surface. First thing you're going to need is a number 2 pencil, not a mechanical pencil or a pen. I like using number 2 pencils because they adequately mark the waxing line about a 1/4 inch up the base of any vessel. Make sure the pencil stays flat and flush on the table while you turn the pot around the graphite. This assures a consistent straight line along the base. You can also mark the beveled edge with the side of your pencil, assuming the bevel is at least a 1/4 inch up from the foot of the pot. Because your pot will likely be rim side down at times, make sure you have a paper towel underneath so that you don't transfer any unwanted wax to the lip of the pot. As you're applying wax with the brush, make sure to use only a small amount at first and apply thinly. Don't overdo it with the wax. You can fill in any gaps if needed once your first layer is dry. Also, be careful with your brush strokes. That pencil line is there to help you maintain the integrity of a straight line while waxing. The wax should take anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes to dry, depending on the weather is what I always say. Double check those light spots to make sure they've actually been waxed. They likely have, which is deceiving, so fight the urge to apply a second layer unless you really need to in some areas. If the wax drips or you touch the pot with waxy fingers, just know that this wax will repel any glaze that you try to apply to your pot, so you'll need to rectify this error if this happens. I've had great success scrubbing the wax off with scalding hot water from the tap. Some folks say that you can even burn the wax off with a lighter, but I've had pretty good success with simply just giving the pot a super hot bath. Some folks try sandpaper too, but I've not had great luck with doing this, and it seems to create more problems than it solves. Worst case scenario, we just reload your bisque pot back into another bisque firing to evaporate all of the wax off so that you can start from scratch. So again, the basic premise of waxing is to repel glaze from the bottom of your pot so that the glaze doesn't fuse to your kiln shelves. Glazes do run and some fusion may be inevitable despite your best efforts waxing. This student didn't accommodate for this runny combo and didn't wax up high enough. Therefore, some of the kiln shelf is fused to her pot and even tore a small chunk of the base away when removing from the kiln. You can also see the telltale sign of glaze fusing to the shelf, the dreaded white patches of kiln wash. These can usually be grinded or sanded off, but the base of your pot will not likely look the same ever again. During the firing process, the wax evaporates, revealing the exposed clay underneath. As a design element, I think that this is pretty interesting, as it lets the viewer know what type of clay the potter used. This mug I made with my daughter using terracotta clay. Low-fire earthenware can either be red or white in color. This looks like a white earthenware pot, but is likely a mid-range stoneware. It's important to check with your potter to make sure that you're using a clay body that's compatible with the microwave, dishwasher, and is food safe. This is a white cone 10 stoneware clay body with some interesting discoloration that is likely due to the kiln environment at the time of firing. We call this flashing. And this is an iron-rich cone 10 stoneware that was also fired in reduction, like the previous mug. Though they were fired in the same environment, you can see how two different clays yield different looks. Lastly, we have a bowl that I made using a cone 10 porcelain. A majority of your dishware is likely to be made from white stoneware or porcelain, as you'll be able to observe from the classic white foot ring on the bottom of the pot. In the coming weeks, we will talk about waxing foot rings that leave exposed clay in the center of the base, waxing chalices, and how to wax lidded jars. Once you've finished waxing, it's important for you to clean your area to prevent accidental transfer of wax to your wares. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.